Hey guys, it's Ollie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as requested, I will be attempting to do a snail enclosure tour to show you guys where my snails live and how I've chosen to decorate and all of that good stuff. So I do need to start off this video with some depressing news. And it's been a couple of weeks. I haven't said anything yet because I had to make sure what happened, I guess. I'll explain more. So essentially, we had a heat wave come through our state, and I had the snail enclosure in my bedroom with all of my other enclosures. So the bedroom was already hot because of the heat wave, and we live in a trailer. And then on top of that, I had my other enclosures in there that all also have heat sources hooked up. So unfortunately, that heat wave ended up taking out most of my snails. I only have 2 remaining snails left. So it's been a couple weeks, and I didn't tell you yet because I wanted to make sure the snails that passed away were actually passed away. So when it's too hot, snails will go through estivation, which is kind of like hibernation, but for heat. So whenever it is hot and dry, they will tend to go into like kind of a hibernated state called estivation. I tried to pull them out of that to see if maybe it was estivation, and only one of them woke up. I don't know why I didn't think of the heat being a problem, because I know that they can be sensitive to heat, but I figured they are native to my area, and it does get that hot here in the summer, but then I also didn't take into account that they're in an enclosure and they can't escape that heat as easily as they can outside. So I have moved my snails to my kitchen, which is a good temperature for now, until it cools off just a little bit more. We're almost in the clear, and then they'll be going back to the bedroom. But unfortunately, only 2 survived. So the 2 that survived was one that I had just gotten that you guys haven't met yet, and Fridge. That's it. The babies are also okay. The baby snails survived as well, but out of the adults, those are the only ones that survived, unfortunately. So before going into the enclosure tour, I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. I just didn't know how to tell you, how to bring it up, and it was devastating. I have learned from this that if I feel it is too hot, that I need to move the snails immediately to another room and make sure that they are regulated properly. But yeah, so I will show you my snail enclosure now and hopefully make this a little bit more cheery. This is my snail enclosure. I did also just refill their food as well, and went ahead and placed them on it too, just to make sure they got it. Right now, they are not awake. Oh, actually, look, you can see him right there. So you can see that he is munching away. He actually does not have a name yet, so if you have a name for him, let me know. And as usual, Fridge usually wakes up like an hour after I put the food in there. So we'll probably won't see Fridge too active today. And this is the enclosure. If you're curious, they are eating this. It's just some broccoli slaw. Usually I give them like actual, just like whole broccoli or carrots or something, but I went ahead and got some of this to try out. See how they like it. To start out the enclosure, obviously I have their food bowl there. I tend to keep their food bowl away from the wall since it is hard ceramic. And I know that does seem like a lot of food for 2 snails for a day, but after they eat, I give the rest of it to my bugs. So the substrate I use is Eco Earth mixed with organic topsoil. I use Scott's. I do also have springtails and isopods hidden in the substrate here, so they take care of most of the waste or mold or fungus that I might get in here. And it is an Exoterra. All of my enclosures also have these like little stickers. Everyone always asks about them. They're from Etsy, and I will link the store down in the description below. They have their cuddle bone. That's just some of it. Some of it's also back there. I normally have a piece down here actually, but I must have put it over here. There's a bit of like a hole down here. It makes a cooler environment for them if they so choose that. Now for the rest of it, I just have these cork pieces. They don't really seem to mold, I've noticed. So I like those for my snail enclosures quite a bit. And then I just have this fake plant for them to climb on. They both seem to like sleeping on it. So I just have that propped up by this. It's not like attached to the glass or anything like that. I just have it where it's kind of like on here. It's like pressed against the glass. But yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. Like, I don't have too much stuff in here. So the reason that you would want a more simple setup for your snails is you will have to probably dig through this like once a week to check for eggs, whether or not you want to incubate or not. You will still have to check for them so you can move them to a baby bin. Yeah, so I keep it really simple because I check once a week, especially during mating season, to just make sure that I don't have surprise babies again. So it's very simple, where I can just pull all of this decor out with no problems, or I can just pull all of it out and you know, place it back pretty easily. So that is the reason it's so simple. I do also occasionally add moss into it. It doesn't usually last very long though, because these guys really seem to like moss. Yeah, that's pretty much all for my snail enclosure. Like I said, it's not a lot. It's a snail enclosure. They don't need a lot. It's easier maintenance if you don't have a lot. But it is still enriching, and it's still great for these two guys here, and then in the future the babies. So, oh, also the reason I keep the baby enclosure up there is because I prefer it to be out here. The dogs and cats can't get to it, and it has the same temperature as the adult bin, which is kind of what you want. So this is the baby enclosure. As you can see, I placed them all on that food there, just to give them a head start. I typically do place my babies on their food, but other than their little bowl there, they also have just the same dirt that's in here, and a little bit of leaf litter, and their cuddle bone, of course, and they just go right back in there. Thank you guys for the suggestion of the video. I'm sorry if it's not as elaborate as you wanted, but that's all I really got for you. Alright guys, well that was it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed my snail tour. It's not the best, and I will be getting a bigger one, hopefully by the time the babies are able to go in the adult enclosure. I do also want to mention, I do have a how to set up a snail enclosure video. I'll link it in one of the corners, but that's just me explaining in detail like different ways to house your snail. I also have a snail care guide for those of you who don't know. I have a snail playlist on my channel if you just want to go watch it. I'll link the playlist in one of those corners as well. The care guide is a bit outdated, I think. I also have more knowledge now, but none of it's like incorrect. I just have things I would like to add to it, I suppose. I might just make it in the future just to freshen it up a little bit. And if you have any questions, like, feel free to comment down below the questions or to DM me on Instagram. As always, like this video for the algorithm. Comment down below if you liked my snail enclosure or any ideas that you have for me to spice it up a bit. And subscribe to this channel if you're into this kind of content. I post every single Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can hit the bell if you don't want to remember that. As always, the links to my Instagram will be down in the description below. If you want to, send me a picture of your snail enclosure. I really like to see them. My art Instagram is also in the description below, where you can commission custom pet pictures from me. The pricing and examples for all of that are on the Instagram page, so don't forget to go check out that account. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, I'll see you next week. Bye!